The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. Let's talk about it. 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 On the Vera Thomas Show. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
Hi, I am so happy to be here today. And I do want to ask you to please like, share, and comment on the Vera Thomas Show. Please, I need your support. And I'm asking you to please like, share, and comment. And subscribe to the Vera Thomas Show. I am so excited to have my guest tonight. Hello, Baylan. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me, Vera.
Well, I'm just, I love you and I'm excited that you are here. And let me just tell the audience a little bit about you. You have a pretty long bio and you're going to share most of your life with us, but I'm going to share some bits and pieces. First of all, Baylan Megino is a spiritual mentor for leaders finding new direction that is centered in their heart and soul. As the founder of Global Dream Makers, she believes when you create your dream that you will be able to help others do the same. And as a result, there ultimately will be peace in the world. Baylan helps people define their compass to navigate the changes life brings by organizing all areas of their life into a simple blueprint, the Dream Maker Matrix. When their dream life, with their dream life defined, all decisions become as simple as breathing. Baylan's life experience ranges from corporate international investment world to scaling a remodeling company from a guy in his truck to more than $1 million in revenues. Leaving the corporate world of finance, she weathered the ups and downs of entrepreneurship during great economic upheaval and served in community organizations and leadership. Along the way, she was the top 10% of the most viewed LinkedIn profiles and co-chaired the Filipino Community Commitment Committee responsible for the first 2 years of the Asian Art Museum's annual celebration for Filipino American History Month in San Francisco, the largest celebration in the United States at that time. She consults with individuals and organizations to get their message to the world. She chose to find her own answers to the question, what is your dream? And now helps others define and live into their dreams. Baylan bases her mentoring on all her experiences and is writing the Queen's Guidebook, The Keys to Your Peaceful Queendom, to guide leaders to create the peace of the global dream. Now, I know I said quite a bit, and I want to say to my audience, forgive my lighting. I don't know. I'm sitting with 4 lights around me, and I'm still not light enough, so I don't know what the problem is. But anyway, I'm going to give you the floor, Baylan, and I would like for you to share. Now, our topic today is letting go to be free. But before we even start with that topic, I want you to share more about your life. And as you know, I work with parents and their kids, so I often ask my guests to share what was your childhood like and how did it impact you? And how did it cause you to move into the areas that you have moved into in your life? So I'm going to give you the floor.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Vera. I didn't know I was going to talk so much about my childhood, but here we go. I'm Filipino American. I was born and raised here in the San Francisco Bay Area. And my father was one of the first people of color to work at United Airlines. He actually was a computer programmer. And as a result, we were able to travel. We were able to fly with the employee discount. And that helped us to be able to visit family and friends around the country and in the Philippines. You know, we went to the Philippines the first time when I was like 5 years old. And that's when I realized that I wasn't as different. I was in a place where I wasn't different anymore because the school where I was very multi-ethnic. It was very multi-ethnic. And I went to Catholic school, so I had a religious foundation very strong from the very beginning. But here in Oakland, I didn't quite fit, and I didn't know it because I was in a multicultural school. However, anytime I ventured beyond the boundaries of my neighborhood, I noticed that I was treated differently, or I was I was treated differently. And so when I went to the Philippines, it was as if, I'm sure it was how people are when they go to the pilgrimage to their homeland, right?
Yes.
I wasn't different. I was among my people. I could relax. And in fact, people looked up to me because I was from the United States. I was from America, and that was their dream, right? So when it came time for me to go to school, and actually go to school. I do apologize. I didn't expect this question. It became really important that I was a good student. It was really important that I only lived within the bounds of what was acceptable and what I would get approval for. And so I was the good student. I always got the A's. I was always the one who ended up being the teacher's pet. And the kids weren't too happy with me about that. So I became isolated and was a little bit in my own world. I was surrounded by, I was with cousins. I grew up with my cousins. So I had my own extended family, right? But I always knew I was different. And I always knew that in order for me to succeed, in order for me to get people's approval, I needed to toe the line and only do what others wanted me to do. So that meant that I didn't really think much about what I wanted. It was really doing what other people wanted me to do. Fast forward, beyond school, grammar school, high school, beyond, college, it really, I even into my work life, I had to be the really good employee, the good girlfriend, the good wife. I ended up with the nice house, right? I did everything that I was supposed to do. No, go ahead. Yes, you had a
Can
question.
I ask you? Yes. So always feeling like you had to go the extra length. You always had to be the best. You always had to make sure that you excelled. And you were always doing things because you were trying to make sure that you pleased other people. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
So let me ask you, how did that make you feel as a child, recognizing how did you feel? How did it make you feel?
Well, sometimes we don't know how we feel about something or what we know until we experience the contrast, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
I said that I was teacher's pet, right? I was always, it was always between me and this other student who was the top student, right? So there was this, I remember, oh my goodness, it was in second grade. And we did something. I didn't realize everybody was supposed to be in church, and a bunch of us were late. And I didn't realize that we were not supposed to be out in the yard. So we were out playing in the yard, making all kinds of noise while everyone was in church. Everyone was inside the church, had no idea. We were just having fun. So, oh my goodness. When everybody came out, we were, oh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? I bet we're in trouble. So we got into the classroom, and the teacher told us to come forward into the front of the room, right? These were the nuns back then. And yes, I did survive Catholic school. We were punished. We were punished. And it made a huge impact on me. I mean, we were physically punished. And I did not understand.
They used a paddle? She used a paddle on you?
No, she used the pointer stick. She used the pointer stick on the open palm on a 2-year-old, not a 2nd-year-old, a second grader.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was terrible. I mean, you can't hold a pen after that. You can't hold a pencil after that. So I had never had, well, number one, I really loved this teacher. This particular one, I really loved her. So I had not experienced that from one of my teachers before. Didn't even know that kind of behavior happened. And so for me, it reinforced for me, I really have to do over and above. I can't do anything wrong, or else it'll be super painful, right? And and let's just continue on a bit. Fast forward to here I am. I'm married. I have a child. My daughter at the time was 5. I have a really good job working in corporate America in international finance. We live in a nice home with a nice car. Everybody from the outside, it looked like my life was perfect. But I was miserable, and I had no idea why. I did not know why all of a sudden I would feel like bursting out into tears. I didn't know why. I just couldn't quite be happy. It was like there was a lid on my feeling happy. I lost interest in a lot of things because I was in this mental space of, this is my life. This is what it's going to be like. It's going to be the same day in, day out. There was nothing that inspired me. I was connected with my community. I was connected with my family. But what was wrong? And so I ended up going to a counselor, Catholic counseling. And they said, okay, this counselor. So I went to this counselor. And she helped me to see that I really needed to start paying attention to me, right? She helped me to use art to start to access my inner knowing. And then she had to leave the country. So here I was, starting to open up, and oh my gosh, the person who's guiding me through this is gone. And she referred me to one person who was outside of that system. And she was a hypnotherapist. And one of the first times I met with her, she said, I want you to come to this evening. I have a bunch of women. We're going to meet in a circle. And so I went, right? And we were all sitting in the room. And I'm like, my hands are starting to sweat right now. I'm remembering this. We were all sitting in a room. There were 12 of us in her tiny little living room, seated around the room. We're all sitting in a circle. And she was asking every woman the same question. She was asking every single one. And I was like, oh my gosh, oh no, I don't have the answer. I don't have an answer to her question. That had never happened to me, ever. I always knew the answer, and I always knew the right answer. But
what was the question?
This was a question that was only for you individually. What's your dream? She came around and asked, okay, what's your dream? Such a nice, sweet woman. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm doing what everybody tells me to do. They told me this is what would make me happy. And I'm not. And I don't know what my dream is. I mean, even when I got married, Vera, girls grow up thinking what their wedding's going to be like. Well, not me. I didn't think like that. That was not earnest. So my bridesmaids, you have to have bridesmaids. Okay. My bridesmaids asked me, so what are your colors? I have to pick colors. What do I have to do about colors? Clueless, because it just wasn't in my awareness, But she asked me, what is my dream? And I had no clue, because my entire life was based on everybody else's expectations and making sure I did the right thing according to what everybody said would give me success. And I was miserable, just miserable.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
but she did help me to open up.
Okay.
She did help me to open up. She did help me to see where those places were where I had stepped away from myself, where I had given up my power, big time. And I was so miserable. It really was not possible for the marriage to continue. And I had to come to a decision because I had a 5-year-old daughter. And I came to the decision that it wasn't going to work, because the way that we were living was one where we did not feel safe. My husband at the time was a probation officer. And so when you are the spouse of someone in law enforcement, you live a certain way and you see the world a certain way. And it wasn't a way I wanted my daughter to grow up. I didn't want her to believe that, when you go to the grocery store, if somebody comes towards you, you hightail it the other direction because it may not be safe. I didn't want her to live like that, to not trust people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I had some deep knowing that there's something very wrong with that way of thinking. And I didn't want her to learn that. And I couldn't live that way anymore. It wasn't the way I wanted to live. So that marriage ended. And so my journey began with, okay, so what is my dream? And how do I make my decisions so that I can get to that dream or all of those dreams? Yeah.
So
that's how the Dreammaker Matrix came into play.
Okay, yeah, because I want to know how you transform.
I do want to say, yes, I want to say that I was married a second time, and in the second time, we ended that marriage also for a lot of different reasons. But I want your listeners to understand that there is a gem in every part of your life. There is a lesson, there is gold, there are golden nuggets for you to gather in every part of your life. And so in my second marriage, I learned about entrepreneurship, how to do it at a larger scale, right? In my bio, you said, I helped a company, we had a construction company. It started with a guy in his truck, right? A guy in his truck. And then I helped build it to 13 employees and over $1 million in sales. So that was a place where I did not speak. And so in that particular situation, I learned how to speak. I learned how to speak up. I learned that it's important, whatever it is I have to say, it's important to say it. Now that was totally opposite from what I had in my childhood, which was children should be quiet. You should be seen and not heard. Yes. And if you're heard, you're going to be punished, right?
Yes. Yes.
So I had to break that one. I had to break that one about the silence. So I really want your people to know that no matter what the situation, look at what are you learning about yourself? What are you expanding about the understanding of how you live in this life or how you want to live in this life, right? What are you learning that you want to do more of, right? What makes you happy? Find those things that make you happy, that make your heart happy, that make you happy to the point where you could be doing it 24 hours a day, or you could do it for long periods of time and lose track of time. Or maybe even you're doing these things and you would do it for free. You love doing it so much, you do it for free. Find more of those things in your life. But sometimes we don't find it until we live the opposite, right?
Yes.
We live the, oh my gosh, it's the job where the employer, my supervisor, really treats his people unfairly or her people unfairly. Well, what are you learning about yourself in that situation? You're learning about what you value. You're learning about how you think people should be treated and how
Yes.
people should be valued. What is it that you're learning every single day? And if you focus on that, you focus on what is working. What is working in your life? There were days when all I could think about was I have a roof over my head. I have a job that I can go to. There were there were times when I didn't have a job that I could go to, yet I needed to get out so I could be around people. So I would go to the library and work on my computer in the library so I could be around people and outside of my home because I couldn't concentrate at home. Find the ways to set your life so that you have those pockets and the pockets will start growing where you have that time and that space where you can be you,
Yes.
right?
And yes. And I love when you said to look at each experience and glean the good from it, no matter
Yes,
what the circumstances are. There's good in it. And even
yes.
in failed marriages, there's good that can come from it. And so being able to see the good versus the other things that you're going through is important.
It's really important because that's key to letting go. You have to know what you're going to let go of, right?
Yes. I'm so glad you brought it up.
I knew we were going to
Yes.
get there. We were going to get
Yes.
here.
Yes. Yes. Now, you and I, we've known each other for several years, and we've been in different spaces and places in our lives. And you decided to let go. Now, audience, you need to understand when she let go, she let go. I mean, I want you to share with our audience whatever you're comfortable with talking about where you are right now and how you, when I say where you are right now, the path that you've chosen and the impact of that path, that chosen path. And a lot of people will not understand this, but I know you call yourself the is it, what is it, the remote, the digital remote,
The digital
what are you,
nomad.
oh, okay,
The
the
digital
digital,
nomad.
all right, the digital nomad, and she's going to share with you why she calls herself that and where her journey has taken her and what made you decide to do this. So I'm going to give you the floor and share the story.
Oh boy. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. Marriage number two ended way back in 2009. Um, and eventually, I popped up, I popped around to different places. And eventually I moved back in with my parents. My father was starting to have the signs of Alzheimer's, and my mother needed help. And so that's what I did. I said, okay, I will be the daughter. There are three of us. I will be the one to come home and help. And so I did. I went back, and Dad's. We went through the decline that that families experience in
Mm-hmm.
with Alzheimer's, and
Mm-hmm.
that took a couple of years. And part of that time, he was institutionalized. We ended up having to do that because we couldn't physically manage him.
Did he
Um,
become violent?
that was when we decided it was time to do that. He had already done the wandering, and he started to get violent, and that was not safe for either my mother or me. And so
Right.
we found a place for him, and he went to different places as his disease progressed. Right. So when he passed away, literally my mother, who was strong as an ox, was never ever sick. Right. Hardly. I mean, she had one thing that happened. She all of a sudden, her body said, okay, we've been holding back on all this stuff. Let's do it. And so she really needed my help. And so I stayed and helped to take care of her for the last 5 years of her life. Each year it was a different major health issue to deal with, including cancer. We had to deal with that. But I do want to say that people who are caregivers, Vera, they are angels. I remember someone said to me one time, "Oh, you're an angel," and I didn't understand what he was saying until I was out of it, until after my mother passed, and I kind of blocked all that out, and then was around someone else who was doing the caregiving, and I understood those are angels. It takes such patience, and to step back from your own life in a way so that you can put another person in the front. That's being an angel on this land, on this
You,
planet.
you,
So we
yeah.
have to we have to really honor those caregivers and
And,
support
and
them as much as we can.
yes, and as a caregiver, and because I put my life on hold when both my sisters were diagnosed with cancer at the same time, one in
Oh,
Ohio and the other in Kentucky. And I was going back and forth between the two. And at the time, I wasn't thinking in terms of being an angel or any of that kind of stuff. I was thinking, this is what I have to do. I'm the oldest, my mother's gone, that, dad's gone, um, and so it was up to me to do what I needed to do, being the oldest. So, and it was challenging, being a caregiver, especially if a part of it involves toxicity, a toxic environment, and you're there to care for someone that's sick. It is, I mean, I prayed for strength every day, in order to do that. So I understand, and plus also caring for my mom when she got sick. And I was in my early 20s at that time, so I understand about being there. And in most cases, we do it because who else is going to do it? Who's going to do it? If we don't do it, who's going to do it? You know? So we do what we have to do, with no regret,
absolutely.
no guilt, no tripping. You just do what you got to do. So I commend you
And
for
really,
caring.
Thank you. And that is the gift there, right? We have no regrets. We were
Right.
there, because many people, they regret not being there. They
Yes.
regret not spending more time, right?
Yes.
We don't have that.
No. No. No,
No,
we
because
don't.
we were there 24/7.
Yes, we knew we did what we needed to do. And I am
Yeah.
so glad that I did, because again, no regret, no guilt, you know, we were there for them. So that's what matters. Now, before we get into this letting go, I do want to pull up a couple things. Let me pull this up. Yeah, this is your Global Dream Makers.
It's my
You
logo.
want to, yes, you
Hmm.
want to tell us a little bit more about this before we jump into this letting go? I mean, and you started the story because you were staying with your mom, and then after she
Hmm.
passed, some other things happened, and we're going to talk about that. Um, let's,
Well, that is part of this, right? That is part
okay.
of the development, right? Because, all right, I was still in. There were still parts of my life where I was trying to figure out how to do my life right, right? I had already stepped on after my first marriage was starting to crumble. I stepped onto that introspective spiritual journey to understand who am I as a person of spirit here in this body, in this time, in this lifetime, right? In this time on the planet. And I learned several different spiritual traditions, indigenous systems, ways of healing, alternative healing methods. I learned all of those things of understanding how can we help others? How can we help ourselves with our own healing, right? So I learned all of these things, and I'm an organizing visionary. I needed to understand how does this all work together, right? How does this all work together? And I started there. There was actually one system out there that I looked at, and they had something like 17 different areas of your life that you have to put your goals to and think about. And no, I think it's 12 different. But how do I remember the 12? Oh my gosh, I only have 10 fingers, right? How do we get to the 12? And I thought there's got to be a way to organize it. And I let that go. And at the time, I was helping with photography, and we were at this. It was a mirror pond. It was a mirror pond, and it was such an incredibly hot day that day. And we were taking drops of water and dropping them into the water and watching how, taking a high-speed photo so you could see what happens when water hits the still water. When that little drop hits the still water, it goes down under and then it pops back up. It's really interesting. It's really beautiful, actually. And as we were doing that, I was noticing, he was looking at the popping up part. I was noticing the ripples. What happens then? It comes down, and that's when the ripples happen, right? I thought, oh, that's it. That was my aha moment, Vera. Ah, that's it. We get this inspiration. It comes into us, and then we ripple it out into the rest of the world.
I love it.
Okay. Now, one thing you have to understand is that spiritual principles, things of this profound nature, are very simple. They're very simple. They're not easy, but they are simple. They're not easy to live sometimes, but they are simple to understand. And so that drop of inspiration comes in, right? Divine guidance comes in, a thought, an idea comes in, and then you have to figure out, what am I going to do with it? What areas of my life are going to be affected by it?
Yes.
Who is
And
going to be affected by it?
exactly.
Yeah,
And let me say that those thoughts, when you go through that process and you get those thoughts would not come to you if you were not able to do them. because that is
Absolutely.
divine. That is divinate. That's divine inspiration. And when those thoughts come, no, that's a part of your purpose. That's a part of your passion. That's a part of your dream.
Yes. And sometimes this is just the next step. We often or usually do not see the whole picture, what it's going to look like at the end. We really don't.
No,
Sometimes we can only handle what is the next step. We're never given anything more than what we can handle, what we
absolutely.
can. Um, yeah, I mean, divine guidance, God, goddess, source, whatever you want to call spirit, I say spirit, um, knows what you're capable of and knows what your soul and your heart need in order to grow and to expand. And so
Yes.
listen to that guidance.
Yes.
It's so incredibly
Yes.
important to listen to that guidance and to then act on whatever it is. Small steps are fine. Small steps sometimes are all you're feeling that you're capable of doing, but it's shifting the energy.
Yes.
It's letting go of the old way of being. The
Yes.
old way might have been just 1 minute ago, but it's letting go of the status quo and what was at that moment. Right? This is how we're talking about our energy being part of how it affects everybody else around us.
Yes.
Right? Being
Yes.
responsible for that.
Yes. So share with us your process for letting go and living the life that you're currently living and the impact that it's having on your life.
Well, okay. So we continue with the story. My mother passed away, and we were living in the family home that we had been in for 48, 49 years. And my sisters decided that we needed to sell the house. Now, um, I didn't really have anywhere else to go. I didn't have the financial resources to be able to find my own apartment. So um, the family estate, found me an apartment, which I was able to be in all the way through to the end of the pandemic. And what that did was it found me a new home that allowed me to finally rest and relax from 8 years of caregiving.
Mm-hmm.
It allowed me to really start to think about, to pivot, to slowly pivot and think about, well, okay, what am I going to do with my life? What do I want in my life now that I don't have those responsibilities to care for other people? And I don't, I'm free. I was free to be me. But what is that, right? When we moved, I had to let go of a lot of things, right? I had to look at what had value that I wanted to bring with me. And at that point, I was so heartbroken that it was hard for me to let go of a lot of my childhood things from the past and some of the things that reminded me of my mother or reminded me of my father. So I brought a lot into that apartment. And through the years, I culled a bit. But that was also I don't know, I want to say peel off the layers, um, letting go of those things, but holding on to the memories, holding on to the impact they made on me, and on to the meaning that it had for me, right? So the things I could let go of, all of those intangibles were already in me, and I just needed to become aware of them and to hold on to that. I could always take a picture of the things and have the things remind me. Um, and so the pandemic came, and my business was reorganizing, and that was actually when the global, the Dreammaker Matrix made a lot more sense to me. That's when the Dreammaker Matrix started to really fill in. So I understood there are 5 areas of our life. And in those 5 areas, we ripple out 6 levels out into the future, right? Starting from that point of inspiration, and we spiral around as we're manifesting. So as you're spiraling around in every second, what is the thought and the intention in your mind? And for me, it was like, where's my home? Where is my home? Well, I got to the point where I understood the Dreammaker Matrix. I understood how I was going to be teaching it to people and helping them to build their lives. And I have to say, Vera, it's wonderful with couples. Oh my gosh, it is so beautiful with couples because we do them individually. They see each other's dreams individually, and then they make one together.
Wow, I can imagine.
It is spectacular. Anyway, but then I had to let go of my home again. It's like, okay, it's time to let go of the apartment. And I really didn't know where I wanted to be. I knew that I was doing my business online. And I knew that I didn't want to carry a lot of stuff around anymore, but I wasn't ready to set up my own home. And so I became a digital nomad. I started to find house sitting and pet sitting and other ways that I could travel and pretty much do my business from wherever I am. Usually I'm based in the San Francisco Bay Area. I have wonderful hosts, people who have me come in, and I do that. But today, literally today, this is like our 3rd day here. I am in San Diego in this beautiful condo up on the 12th floor, across the street from Balboa Park, facing the sunrise, a corner unit. So it wraps from the eastern hills. I can see downtown and watch the planes fly. They fly through downtown buildings. Oh my goodness. And wraps all the way to the bay, right?
Oh my.
And it's a beautiful home. And I'm here for a month. And so what did I do with my stuff? The really important stuff that I want to make sure that when I do decide to settle into a space, that stuff's in storage.
Okay.
And then I have another smaller storage where I go in and out of, depending on what I want to need for where I'm going, right? But other
You're breaking up.
That, I move around people and doing, we're 25, probably going to be doing some international travel by the end of the year. Yeah. Or at least Hawaii.
I know that's right. And you know what? I personally don't think there are a lot of people that can just up and go, be here, be there, be anywhere, and still do what you do, and it's very economical. It enables you to have the freedom. So you're letting go of things, letting go of doubt and worry and all that kind of stuff. You've been able to let go of all those things. So let me ask you, what does it feel like? What does it feel like?
Well, it really takes it's an adjustment. Okay. The beginning months were really an adjustment because, well, I really think about it. If you were to go traveling for a month, so let's say a month at a time, you're going to go, what would you bring with you? What would you bring with you? You wouldn't bring all of your jewelry. You wouldn't bring all of your art. You wouldn't bring all of your clothes. You would just bring what you need because you got to remember you're carrying this stuff around, right? You've got to be able to put it on the plane or on the bus or whatever it is you're traveling in, right? So you minimize. I ended up having to minimize. I mean, this, coming down here, I had to minimize the most. I'm down to 2 luggages plus a carry-on, plus a, personal item, as they call it.
Oh,
And so,
wow.
to have that, because, anything else that we might need that is disposable, we can buy.
Mm-hmm.
We can buy. There's always a Target or a something, a grocery store to go to, and you can just buy it, right? So there's the minimizing, which again is, well, what's important for me to bring forward? What do I need for me to do what I need to do for my work and for my life, right? So it's minimizing down to those things. And then being open to new experiences, because you're going to be around new people, you're going to be around new spaces, and every place has its own personality, has its own environments to experience, has its own food. I mean, really, it's really fun exploring all the different kinds of food, and just being open to the experience. Because if you really believe that you can have divine inspiration, why can't every moment be that? Why can't
Absolutely.
every moment be something that has been orchestrated for you to experience,
Yes.
right? In fact,
Yes.
that's what happens for me. Something comes up and I'm like, all right, I don't know how this is going to happen. The how is not up to me. What's up to me is to be really clear on my intention. What is it that I want to experience, and what do I want to help, right? How do I want to serve? And when
I
I get
love
clear on that, everything else comes. The resources come, the people come, the places to stay come,
it.
and they're
Yes.
beautiful places. I love the spaces that I'm being placed in, right?
That's amazing. I mean, I think it's
Yeah, yeah.
beautiful. I don't know if I could do that. I don't know, because the constant getting up and moving, but it's working for you, and it's giving you that sense of freedom that enables you to really hone in on what you do without worrying about housing and all those things. You know what I'm saying? That is just amazing to me. And
Mhm.
I'm going to do a commercial right quick, and then we'll come right back.
In a world where
Okay.
authenticity is the key, unlock your brand's potential with ADM's game-changing marketing solutions. We craft striking logos that embody your brand's spirit and build websites that captivate and convert. Our lead generation strategies are tailored to your needs, driving growth and boosting your bottom line. And our content, well, it's not just content. It's a narrative, a story that connects and resonates with your audience. But here at ADM, we're about more than just exceptional services. We're about authenticity, about staying true to who you are and what you stand for, because realness, that's what makes a brand unforgettable. So if you're ready to elevate your brand with authenticity and excellence, follow this page. Dive deeper into the world of divine marketing and become part of our community. Because at ADM, we're not just about making brands, we're about making brands matter.
Divine marketing, authentic divine marketing. You want to check out Ariel Chime. She will provide you with marketing tools that are coming from your heart, from your purpose, from your passion. So check out Ariel Chime at Authentic Divine Marketing, and you can find her at bit.ly/divine chime. So check her out. Check her out. All right. Now, back to what we were talking about. And can you please put in the private chat how people can reach you?
Oh,
Yes,
I forgot to hit the button.
that's okay. That's okay. Oh, okay. All right. Awesome. And she's got a gift. She's got a gift for you. So let me put this in here. Oh, that's awesome. You want to talk a little bit about the gift?
Well, I have a lot of different offerings and it's always changing. But the most basic thing is Your Life by Design. Um, or, we have the thing for the couples, and we also have work that we do with teams. And so I wanted all of your people to be able to access whatever they need at whatever time. So I know this is going to be up forever and ever and ever. So
Yes, it is.
whoever puts down excuse me, goes to globaldreammakers.com. Go to globaldreammakers.com and hit the contact us button. And over and contact us, just give us your information and say Vera Thomas. And we will give you a
Yes.
special discount code. Special discount, depending on what it is you want, you'll get a special discount code because you came from Vera. Special, special people in this community, people who are making a difference, and we want to help you do that. We want to help support you with that. So we will give you a very nice discount. Yes, very nice.
Yeah.
We'll take care of your people, Vera. Don't worry.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And it's in the comments, so you can go to it. And it's up on the screen. You can go to, excuse me, www.globaldreammakers.com. Go to contact us and put in Vera Thomas for special discount code. So check it out. Check it out. All right. All right. And Baylan, your life is just extraordinary. And I know that you plan to travel across the ocean to do this, which is so exciting. That is so exciting. And so tell us what's next for you? What are you working on right now?
Well, someone asked me the other day, so what is the long-term dream? And I'll tell your people here. First, you need to understand that I truly believe, truly, truly believe that when we are creating our dreams, when we are pursuing that which we love, then we can only help others do the same, to do more of the same, right? Encourage them. And when more and more of us are creating our dreams, then our families will thrive. Imagine how different our families would be if we were all happy doing what we love. And then our communities would thrive. Our nations would thrive. There would be no place for violence, no place for war. It's not needed because we are creating the world we desire to live in. And so when we have that kind of world where more of us are creating our dreams, we will have peace. I truly believe that. So the Dream Maker Matrix helps us to decide in every moment, in every decision, what will get me closer to my dream? Will this get me closer or further? And if it's going to get us further, it's a choice. It is always a choice. We always have choice, right? It's never, oh, I didn't have a choice. Not true. You always have a choice.
Yes.
You just have different consequences, different results as a result of that decision. You are still going toward your goal. You'll get there, just with a different, but with a different variety of experiences and skills and knowledge, right? So you'll get there. You'll get there. Your dream is the most important thing on this planet for you to make happen. You have your own piece of the global puzzle. You are the only one who can bring you and your work, whatever that is, to this planet. And we need that. We need you to come forward. We need you to show up and say what it is you have to say. Show up and treat people the way that you want to be treated. Show up and make the difference. Speak up and say what needs to change. because who else is going to do it? Who else is going to do it in the way that you can with the knowledge and experience that you have? So it's important that we put our own unique pieces of the puzzle, as we were talking about experience and letting go, and how we look at what is the gem, right? We are the gem. It's just that there's dusty parts on the different facets. And maybe this experience you're having right now has a lot of schmutz on it, and it needs to be dusted off and cleaned off so that you can see that gem, that light that can shine forth from within, because you have that light within that needs to shine. That's what we're here for. Because when you do that, other people who recognize you, they'll recognize your energy and they'll say, ah, there she is. She's over there. Or, oh, wow, what is that? I want more. I want to experience that more. I need that more. Those are your people. So shine so they can find you. Be that lighthouse where you're that beacon of light for them to come in, so that you can do whatever it is you're supposed to do together. There's a lot we're here to do together. Finding our people is important. And when you find your people, enjoy it. It's not all work. Enjoy it. Have fun. Have fun and experience all the different ways there are to enjoy life, to really, really feel alive and feel how your energy can flow out and experience and change the world around you. That's what you're here for.
Yes.
Make that difference in the world.
Yes.
So, yes, it's so important that we stand in our, when we look at the Dream Maker Matrix, okay, and I apologize, I don't have that picture here. But when we actually look at the Dream Maker Matrix, it's a,
let me pull it up.
Think about standing at the matrix. We're standing at the top of a pyramid. We're standing at the top of a pyramid with a square base. And when you look right at the center, that central circle, that is your connection to spirit. We are always standing in the center of our connection to spirit. And that connection to spirit goes all the way down through the middle of that pyramid down into the earth. So every single area is touched by that connection to spirit. It is part of that area. It is that catalyst that starts the ripple going out, right? So as we are getting our inspiration, we then have to think about, how do we get it past the gatekeepers of all of our belief systems, our values, our thoughts of how the world should be? How do we get beyond the gatekeepers and plan the dream, make your intentions, figure out what you need and how you want things to happen? And then the next part is, that's the mental, emotional, the mind part of it, right? Where it starts to take form and shape. And already you are creating, because you get to decide what the form and shape is. And then we go into the physical. How am I embodying it? How am I living it? Okay, now I'm doing that. How am I going to offer it to the world? That's our contribution, whether it's in our work or in our volunteering. How am I going to live this beyond myself? And who am I going to impact? That's the last area. Our relationships, right? Who are we impacting and how are we impacting them? We get to choose in all of those areas. And the more we choose and the more we start to see that the resource and everything is starting to come together to support us in that way, the happier we can be, and things will start to happen more smoothly, with more ease, with more peace. If you focus on peace, then you have abundance, you have good health, you have all that you could want to support you to bring your dream into being.
Awesome. What a beautiful way to end this. What a beautiful way to end this. I'm losing my headset and everything. Okay. Well, listen, this has been beautiful. Please take heed to what she said. Find your dream, your purpose, your passion. Let go of all the negative peripheral stuff, and be free. Be free to be you. And Baylan can very well guide you through that because she had to do it herself. And you can't teach what you don't know. You can't give what you don't have. She knows what she's doing. So check her out. Go to www.globaldreammakers.com and under contact us, put my name, Vera Thomas, for that special gift. Well, listen, thank you so much. I'm going to pull you down and hold on, don't leave, and we'll be right back. So thank you, listening audience, and we will see you next week. God bless and have a wonderful, wonderful night. Bye bye.
The